Okay, in this lesson, I'm going to give you another high-level overview of how you take your website content and generate a CSV file out of that. Now, I could go into a lot of detail and go into all the nitty-gritty stuff, but that would be an entire course all by itself, especially considering that screen scraping a complex website such as the one I use for my courses. There are a lot of things that you have to watch out for, and first of all, it's too specific to my course website to be something that I can generally apply to people who are watching this video. And the second thing is, as I pointed out, it will take a long time to go through all that material, like to specifically explain how it is done. So I'm just going to stick to an overview of the process, and the what we are doing here effectively is we are just doing a screen scrape of a website using some code. That is, the code will, let's take a look at this particular course over here. So the code effectively will go to this URL, and then it is going to get the HTML of everything which is on this page. And what I also want to tell you is that if you were to right click on a single lesson name and then you click on inspect, and inside of that you can of course go and select that block of text. And here is something you can do. You can actually, you see that if you right click on that block of text also, then you have this thing called copy XPath, and let's click on that, and I just open a text file and paste in whatever I got from that XPath. And what you notice here is this is what they call as an XPath expression. And the suggestion I have is that you take some time to learn about how this XPath works. It's basically XPath is sort of like I think I can call it like a language which helps you deal with hierarchical structures. It helps you query hierarchical structures such as the one you have inside HTML, and it gives you a very structured way of doing that. And also, most of the programming languages have libraries which allow you to do all these complex XPath expressions. So by doing that, what you can do is you can, for example, you go down to this specific node, and then you go to the parent of that, and then this title, the section title is going to be a child of the parent of this node, and you can do all these kind of like manipulations. And learning about XPath allows you to do that in a much better way. So the first thing is you are going to do screen scraping, and the second thing is learn about XPath, which will allow you to do all this screen scraping. And as for the actual information that you are going to collect from this page, it's fairly straightforward. For every single lesson name, what I am interested in is the name of the lesson and the name of the parent, which is the section name. And then at the beginning of that script, I'll also get the name of the course itself by looking at the XPath expression of this particular material here. And once I do all this, I am going to also get the actual hyperlink. If you see at the bottom of the browser window, you see that it shows the actual hyperlink that this lesson is pointing to. So I'll collect all this information and I'll store it inside an array. And once I do that, I'll just like dump it into the CSV file. So that is going to be the link to this is going to be sort of the response which you're going to add into the intent. Now, as for the training phrase, I have hinted at this earlier, but the training phrase is just going to be the name of the course, and then I'll append the name of the section, and then I'll append the name of the lesson. So why do I do that? It's because you want to give it the best chance to identify whatever the user is going to say. For example, the user might say, in REST API course, I want to learn about Postman, and we saw that in the demo. So the words REST API is going to be covered by the course name, and then the word Postman is usually, you expect that it will be covered by the intent name, and the section name is just going to give additional detail. It's usually also quite helpful because it's talking about the topic under which you have this lesson, which is, you can think of it as a subtopic. So you combine all this information, and that makes up the training phrase. And I also have like a few more modifications of the training phrase, where I might say something like, I'll prefix the word course right before the training phrase, so that because people will say something like, do you have any course on topic X? Or I might have a suffix, like I might put the course right after the modified training phrase, and I'll put all these into the CSV file. And now when you do that programmatically for every single course, and then you go through every single lesson in every single course, you have programmatically generated what would be actually a pretty huge CSV file with hundreds of rows, and that would correspond to the CSV format that I specify for this purpose. And we will be talking about the CSV format in a future lesson.